Good morning, staff, and welcome to the 2018-2019 school year here at Bonita Vista High School. I am so excited to hear about your stories from summer and get back to the great work that we do. First, I would like us to catch up with each other. Maybe someone on campus that you don't know very well, about something that happened to you over summer. We are going to play a game called Find Your Soulmate. You will look for someone that you don't talk to very often who has a similar soul, as in shoes, to you. Find this person, then discuss the following questions. What was your favorite activity that you did over summer? How did you do it? Why did you do it? I'll provide you with my own as an example. My favorite activity that I did this summer was learning how to cook in my pressure cooker. It wasn't easy, and I'm not a natural cook, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos and had a lot of trial and error. It was important to me because I am working hard to not eat out so much. Now, it's your turn. Find your soulmate. Thank you all for engaging in that activity. Today, we are going to be talking about the what, how, and why of our work. This applies to every choice that we make and every lesson that we teach. Teaching is a difficult job, but it's also incredibly important. Let's remind ourselves why we teach by watching this video called Teaching is Tiring and Also Worth It. Now, take a few minutes to ask yourself why you teach. Then turn to a neighbor and tell them your reason and listen to theirs. Here at Bonita, we pride ourselves on setting the standard for excellence. I know that we all hope for each of our students to achieve this. Please read the mission statement quietly to yourself and think about what excellence looks like in your classroom. Now, let's look at where we are at currently as a school. First, we have a lot to celebrate. We have some incredibly successful programs such as International Baccalaureate, Vocal Music Department, Speech and Debate, Newspaper, Yearbook, our athletics teams, sports medicine, and so many more. I love reading about all of our achievements in the weekly e-newsletter. How are we doing it? We have a well-qualified and dedicated staff who work so hard to ensure that students succeed both in the classroom and outside of the classroom. It is clear that we all love our students and want them to succeed. But we also have to get real with ourselves about our areas for growth. Our scores on the 2017 CAST mathematics exam are weak, similar to other schools in our district. However, these scores are even more frightening when we look at our English language learners. If you compare the overall results, there's a 50% gap between our fluent English proficient students and our English language learners. That's simply unacceptable. I want to focus in on our scores for claim area number 1, concepts and procedures. This is the most foundational claim, yet our scores are weak here too. Here we see a 43% discrepancy in success rates for fluent English proficient students and our English language learners. Even focusing on all students, we still only have around 30% of students achieving above standard on this claim area. We can and need to do better for our students. Now, some of you who aren't in the math department might be asking yourself, what is claim number 1, and why should I care if I'm not a math teacher? Claim area number 1 is concepts and procedures. It addresses students' ability to explain and apply mathematical concepts. It addresses students' ability to carry out mathematical procedures with precision and fluency. It is also aligned to grade level standards, mathematical practices, and progressions of learning. So how does it inform instruction in the classroom? Claim 1 documents provide a foundation for the concepts and skills that both teachers and students should learn. The skills should be a part of a rich educational experience and not limited to just foundational skills. The mathematical practices should guide classroom instruction. The progressions of learning are key to making connections from prior learning to future learning. So why are we focusing on this specific claim? Well, about 1/2 of the computer adaptive portion of the Smarter Balance test assesses Claim 1 concepts and procedures. This means that we'll be getting the best bang for our buck. It also provides foundational knowledge that will support students in more advanced learning, especially in their AP Calculus and IB Math classes. Finally, it connects to all subject areas. Yes, all subject areas. We all have concepts and procedures in our domains that we want students to understand and use effectively. All of this data analysis brings us to the question, what is our current ideal state at BVH? Much like we have learning objectives for our students, I've determined some for us based on my data analysis. I am rolling out our plus 10%, minus 10% initiative for the 2018-2019 school year. Our school goal is that by the end of 2019, the percentage of all students who meet or exceed standards in concepts and procedures will increase by 10%, and the percentage of students who do not meet standards will decrease by 10%. We will place an emphasis on our ELLs improving at the same rate. For our instructional focus, I have linked our staff objectives to the 5 dimensions of teaching and learning. I want to take us back to basics. In recent years, we've been doing so much complex work that I think we've lost sight of the importance of purpose in our lessons. By the end of the first semester of 2018-2019, teachers will plan lessons based on grade level standards and links the skills taught in those lessons to previous and future work. They should also communicate those learning targets and success criteria to their students. Finally, they should consider students' learning needs in the development of those lessons, especially in regards to language accessibility for our English language learners. I want to touch on our why one more time. We have a collective why that I want to remind you all of. Seeing each year of graduates makes me so proud of our staff and students. Seeing pictures like these brings literal tears to my eyes. Kylie Sison, who struggled with liver cancer her entire senior year, graduated this year despite so many setbacks. Our beloved Miss Bruce celebrated the graduation of her last McKnight family student. And Mr. Phelps gave his seniors their well-earned IB diploma. We all want the best for each of our students, and it's essential that we actually give them our best. Language should not be a barrier to the success of our students. It should only be an asset. In the midst of all of this, let's not forget that we must work constantly to update these goals. They are contingent on our 2018 results, and we must revisit them once we have them. We will evaluate our performance from this year, compare it to last year's, and update our numbers and goals where necessary. So what is the improvement process going to look like? Currently in our classrooms, we have learning targets that have been neglected or completely forgotten. Learning targets are developed in isolation from other PLC members, and they don't always include success criteria. Students often don't make connections from prior to present to future learning, and the differentiation for learning needs varies between teachers and classrooms. Ideally, we would like those learning targets to be well designed and displayed. They should be written in collaboration with our PLCs. Learning targets include specific criteria with exemplars and non-exemplars so that our students know what we're expecting. Students should discuss connections from prior to present to future learning. And effective differentiation would happen in all classes regardless of teachers, and especially for our English language learners. Both teachers and administrators are going to have to work together to achieve our goals. Can I have one of my assistant principals read our administrator commitments? Thank you. And can I have a teacher read the action steps? Thank you. We also want to consider our resources. We want you to know that we are going to incorporate your feedback to determine next steps at every turn. We will work with teacher leaders to provide you with high-quality professional development that doesn't simply review what you already know about your learning objectives. We will focus specifically on research from Robert Mazzarno and Simon Sinek. Finally, we are offering both time and money to teachers who are leading this effort. Just as we started the presentation with, our focus for our objectives and observations will be for students to understand the what, how, and why of every lesson for every class. We will also seek to make these objectives clear, measurable, aligned, differentiated, sequential, relevant, and rigorous. This all comes down to my theory of action. I sincerely believe that if teachers establish well-designed learning targets as a school-wide strategy focused on communicating the what, how, and why, and monitored by peers and administration, then students will increase their achievement in the concepts and procedures claimed and decrease the number of students that are below standard, especially our English language learners. Bonita Vista High Barons, we are known throughout the district and county for setting the standard for excellence. So let's make good on that reputation. Our goal for the year is plus 10%, minus 10%. We can do it together.